This is the collar. I want you to get a good view of this, and you'll see a green light flashing every so often. There it is. There's a green light flashing, and it is this button. This button is the key to everything. It allows you to turn it on, turn it off, to sync, and the light cues you into the status of its monitoring right now versus when it needs to be charged, etc. And I know I talked about how light this thing is. It feels like it's like a life-proof battery case for an iPhone. It's the only comparison I have because I have a life-proof battery case for an iPhone. Actually, it's lighter than that, believe it or not. It's waterproof. I haven't had the opportunity to use it in the water or whatever, but it's very comfortable. Holly doesn't seem to complain about it, and I think it works really well.
What I was able to do when I registered my device was I went to membervoice.com and registered Holly's collar, and I created a profile for her. In the profile you can add your photo, etc. And what it does is I've had the unit for 2 weeks now, and it summarizes parameters like activity, rest, resting heart rate, calories burned, resting respiration rate here. And it gives you a statistical historical average, the last weeks, and today in orange, and you can see how everything goes. So the big parameters I was looking for in Holly post-surgery was her resting heart rate, her resting respiration rate, and just her activity level in general, because if a dog or cat is in pain, they'll move more, their heart rate can go up, and their respiration can go up. They'll start panting and so forth. So it was big for me to see everything. So by clicking on here, I can actually go in to see a graphical trend of everything. And in the red or pink is her heart rate, and in the blue is her respiration rate. Now, unbeknownst to me until I looked into it further, was the collar was losing power. It was trying to warn me. Clearly, I wasn't paying attention, but it was warning me both on email and the way the collar lights alter. Instead of a nice flashing green, you'll get a red indicator, and it was telling me that the battery of the collar was going down. So it does last about a week. So had I known that, I would have charged the collar earlier. But the big key thing here is the resting heart rate and respirations were set 2 days prior to her surgery. The day of her surgery is here, and then the following days after surgery follow each consecutive dot here. And the big trend, if you look at the actual graph itself, let me get the mouse out of the way here, is that her resting heart rate and respiration rate are relatively less or the same than prior to surgery, which indicates to me that the pain management protocol was working and worked great. So that's cue from my perspective about, how this collar can work. The other thing is, in general, is just activity levels of dogs. And we touched on this when I interviewed Dr. Amanda, was that dogs actually, by looking at the Voyce collar, dogs actually rest a heck of a lot more than what we anticipate. We figure a dog sleeps maybe 14 hours a day. Well, that is not the case here. Holly probably sleeps 19 to 20 hours a day. And that's what Dr. Amanda was finding as well. So if you have a overweight pet and you want to get their activity levels up, you can definitely monitor that. You can get some activity going. And in my case, I'll be honest with you, she wasn't very active prior to or after surgery with respect to what's going on. I wanted to kind of rest her about things. And usually I take her for a little run every night. So we'll see how that works in the future. But that's key for dogs that are heavy set. So luckily, Holly's not in that area. So with these parameters, you're able to measure many things. The other thing that I think is great about this member Voyce site is I put in things like my heartworm prevention schedule for her and my flea and tick prevention schedule for her. And it literally reminds me. It sends me reminders via email and on the dashboard itself, reminding me that I need to give those. And you'll see a little icon just on top of the reminder about that you have reminders, etc., just like you have mail waiting or anything like that. And I think that's great. And the other thing is that it'll tailor the articles. There's articles written by reputable sources in the veterinary profession about certain things. And you can see they tailor it to your dog breed, and your age parameters of your pet. And I think that's a great resource for any pet owner. So I really like this site because as a Apple Mac user, I need things simple and intuitive, and that's exactly what this is. It gives me everything in a graphical form that I can look at, or in a different graphical form that makes sense to me as well. And the beauty about this is you can share this with your veterinarian. You can share this with your other veterinarian as well. If you have a veterinary specialist, if you have a particular specialist that your pet is undergoing medical treatment with, you can share this with anyone. You can share this with your friends. You have this opportunity to do this. And you can do this. Holly's nowhere near me. I can look at these graphs anywhere there's a internet connection. And the collar is syncing via Wi-Fi. So I think it's to my network. I think it's great. I think this is phenomenal. So I'm really happy with this product, and I'll summarize everything in the next segment.
So I hope you liked my little video about this, the Voyce Pet Health Monitor. I think it is a phenomenal product. It's the brainchild of veterinarians, and it is a monitor that monitors your pet's heart rate, your pet's respiration, their activity levels, and it calculates calories burned. It's waterproof. It lasts about a week per charge, and it continually monitors. And with the integration with the membervoice.com pet site, I think you're able to monitor your pet's vitals from anywhere. You can share that information with your veterinarian. And from my perspective, it's very accurate. It led me to understand more about Holly's activity, about how she did after surgery. And I think that if there's medical conditions, or even preempting seeing the medical conditions at home, your monitor will give you little signs and signals. So I think it's wonderful for the future. And the future is bright for this product. It's going to have a little sibling coming out if it's not already out by the time this comes out. And the future is to have a cat monitor. And there's going to be more variable things with the collar itself, whether it's new monitors, whether it's new software to utilize the existing monitors in it, but it's wide open. It's totally wide open. Visit www.voice.com. Talk to your veterinarian about Voyce products. I don't know a single veterinarian who doesn't know anything about Voyce or hasn't heard about them. And there's a way of either purchasing the product, you can rent the product from your veterinarian, but there's lots of great things about this. So I definitely check it out. www.voice.com. And remember, everyone, love your pet like they love you, unconditionally. Have a great day.